AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
The game has changed. You gotta, I played in the '90s, man. So game has changed. The lanes is wide. It's a guard-oriented league now. You got ball handling skills. You can shoot the three. You in business. So my first player who I love to watch is Stephen Curry. He's just unbelievable. Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, and I like all the point guards. Russell Westbrook. They go hard in the paint, man. They go hard. Jalen Brunson from the Knicks. His game is solid. He's one of the best right now. So it's just all the pure point guards that can make things happen for their teams. Is awesome to watch. But the three is big now. It wasn't as big when I played in the game because we had the 4s and 5s, and they always wanted the ball. And if they didn't get the ball, they start crying. You might get into a fight in the locker room and all kind of craziness. You know what I'm saying? So the game has changed, and it's changed for the better. For the better. Each era has changed. 90s, 2000s, and so on. But I always watch, my teams play. Give much love to Brooklyn Nets. That's where New Jersey Nets. That's where I started. So I always watch them. I watch, Boston Celtics. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. Portland Trailblazers. Those are the three teams that I give most love to because that's where I got most of my minutes being played in those three organizations. So I always, hope the best for those organizations and they do well. And I got to give love to the Indiana Pacers because I did play 1 year with them. We went to the finals, the Eastern Conference. We lost to Detroit when Detroit won it all. So, that's, the NBA is fantastic, man. Great, a lot of great talent. But I think now it's a guards league.
You know what? Real quick, Fabian, before you go, since we on the subject of point guards, Kenny, let me ask you a question. Your era, what point guards in your era today would do very well in the NBA?
Well, all of them. Kyrie Irving, Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard. We could go on. All those guys.
No, but what about no? I'm saying the guys in the point guards in your era. How many of them would really flourish today in today's game?
A bunch of us. I think Tim Hardaway, Kevin Johnson. Okay. I know myself. Now myself, it'd be easier for me now than it was back then. For me to play in this era.
Explain that a little bit for people that don't understand what you're saying.
Because I was a fast, just penetrating guard. The lane is wide open. I would have to just get better with my 3-point shooting, and I would. If just with my work ethic and practicing and things like that. But the lane is wide open. If you got ball handlers, you can't hand check now. Before, when I play, you can hand check. It was tough. It was tougher. Yeah. It was tougher. Yeah. Now it's a lot softer now, and that's just the game. That's what we got to do. But Tim Hardaway, Kevin Johnson, myself, Gary Payton, he could play any lead.
Mark Price.
Mark Price. Now Mark Price will kill this league right now.
No. You got hold on.
He shot the three, so he would flourish.
He would flourish.
He would flourish.
He would flourish. He would flourish because he shot the 3 ball and he shot it excellent. Excellent. And he had handle and he was quick. He played like a dude uptown in the Rutgers Park. That's the type of game he had.
Hold on,
Mark Price was official. And then a guy that I give love to that made the All-Star team, Dana Barrows.
Oh, yeah.
Can shoot that thing with the Celtics. He can shoot and he can handle. He's quick. He will flourish right now in this era.
Dana was tough.
It's just different, man. It's just a different game. You gotta. You know, and most of those guys now, they efficient. They efficient. You know.
Who's our guy uptown, old boy, that he went to Georgia Tech trials? He seen Mark Price.
So give you a quick story. Our guy Terrence Brogdon, aka that's Family Butter, right?
Yeah.
Was dumb nice, and he played high school ball with Kyrie Pops, with Boo Harvey, Ross Strickland, them guys, right? So he had a stint with like the summer league teams with Orlando and stuff like that. And of course, him coming from Harlem, you know, we cocky, arrogant, you know, we think we better than everybody. And he said he went against Mark Price in a practice. He said the way Mark Price manhandled him, it didn't make no sense. So when you bring up Mark Price, so a lot of the youth, a lot of people, they don't understand how good Mark Price was.
No, they don't. They don't understand it. I knew, and this is going back to high school, my senior year. I was watching NCAA one, you know, Saturday something. And I saw him play against Georgetown, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm putting Georgia Tech on my list." From him playing, him playing, I put Georgia Tech. I didn't know I didn't know Georgia Tech was in Atlanta or anything. But by him playing the way he played, I said, "Wow, coach let him do his thing like that." I started getting into Georgia Tech, and then John Sally, who went to Canarsie, went there. Bruce Dye-Ripple. We had a couple of New York. I was like, "Wow, Georgia Tech." That was when I got the first interest in Georgia Tech through Mark Price.
Wow.
And I tell him that every time I see him, I talk to him. He's a great pro. He's a great pro at Cleveland. I had to play against him in the pros. And, you know, Cleveland against the Nets. And we lost the first year against Cleveland in the playoffs. They had a crew, Brad Daugherty, Lawrence, Brad Daugherty, Mark Price, Elo. Terrell Brandon was on that team. But he was with me. He didn't, Ron Harper was injured. He didn't play as much. Larry Nance. They had a crew.
Yeah.
They lost to Jordan. With the Jordan shot. They had a crew. They had a crew. No, Mark Price was that guy, man. He was that guy, man. A lot of people forget and don't give him his credit. Got to give him his love and his credit.
He was so great. Remember, they traded Kevin Johnson.
Yep, they battled. You know, a lot of the young kids don't know that story. They had the battle. Just like I had the battle with Mookie Blaylock was with the Nets. We had to figure out. They traded Mookie Blaylock to Atlanta and gave me the rock. So I was able to do my thing with New Jersey. The same with Cleveland. They was both at Cleveland playing against each other, whatever, and they chose Mark Price and sent Kevin Johnson to Phoenix.
How good was Mookie?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask how good was Mookie, because he's the most, to me, the most underrated defensive point guard ever.
Probably the best, if not the best point guard defensively ever that ever played the game.
Over GP, over Jason Kidd.
They right there. They right neck and neck. They right there defensively, and he was like that. He was nice.
Wow. People forget how many times Mookie led the league in steals. I think he's done it a couple different times. Yeah. But with all that being said, Kenny, you named a lot of guys. Yeah. From that era, who was your toughest matchup? Who was you yo, I gotta lace my sneakers up tonight for him?
My toughest was Tim Hardaway and Kevin Johnson. And when I first got in the league, they killed me. And then I said I went home and I said I can't let this keep going on. So I had to get better, and I had to see, practice and get better, pro better. And I did that. And then we started playing. I started doing well against those guys. But those guys forever, I always give them big ups, and I talk highly of those guys because they're great. They was great players, but they're even greater people. Kevin Johnson and Tim Hardaway. It was awesome. They're great pros.
These guys you're mentioning, right? Because the older we get, they think we just hold on to the past. Yeah. But and the older we get, the more underrated they become. Yeah. So I want to give these kids a chance to understand we love the game today. Yeah. Who would you say, in your opinion, is the most underrated player in the game today, and why? AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.